Eccoci, bentornati. Spero che la pausa pranzo sia stata abbastanza rigenerante, anche perché partiamo subito col botto, direi. Il prossimo speech dal titolo Maximize the Conversion Funnel by Leveraging the Latest Web Platform Future. Gilberto Cocchi, Partner Solution Engineering Web Performance at Google. Please, welcome on stage.
Thank you.
Lo scettro.
Thank you very much.
Wait.
Okay, we should make it. Hello, everyone. Did you have lunch? Are you okay? You have a coffee, too? Or sleepy? No. Okay. I will do my best to wake you up, okay? So, my name is Gilberto Cocchi. I work in Google as a technical partner solutions manager. And in a nutshell, what I do, I take care of Chrome web platform, which is a collection of web platforms and APIs that powers what you use on modern browsers, like Chrome, Safari, Firefox, and so on. Today, I'm going to guide you through some of the conversion steps, and we're going to just focus on some of them, of course, because the commerce journey is really long. And we're going to try to connect the dots between what web platform features allow you to do and what could be like the business outcome by adopting these APIs. As you may know, the web is now more powerful than ever. There are a variety of APIs and web features supported across browsers that allow you and your websites to deliver app-like experiences. At the same time, this landscape is quite complex to navigate. It's constantly changing, and it's particularly complex to figure it out when a feature is supported across browsers. For merchants, it's not only important to stay up to date on web features and support, but also to be able to understand the reach and the potential by adopting some APIs or web features in general. We're going to cover, some slide issues. Yeah, that's better. Okay. We're going to cover few e-commerce conversion steps from the catalog and browsing, some tips about checkout and logging, and then some connections about development productivity. Focusing on the first one, related to landing pages and catalog browsing in general, you already know there are many aspects that you should take care. Performance, design, accessibility, and many, many others. But let me just focus on performance just a bit, not only because I'm obsessed with Core Web Vitals, okay? Performance and Core Web Vitals metrics are essential to help you understand whether your site is delivering a good experience to your users. But we should remind ourselves that, as Marco also mentioned before in his talk, users have increasingly higher expectations. The more they upgrade their mobile devices, the more their expectations increase. So it's important to have like a fast site that that responds to a user input quickly, and at the same time, your site should also implement a stable layout. All of these aspects represent different UX moments which can influence conversions to your users. The Vodafone Italy Core Web Vitals case study is a pretty clear example of this principle. Vodafone experimented with different variants of their ads landing pages by only changing the loading performance. So they were experimenting, so A/B testing, 2 landing pages, same UX, same design, just one was loading better, okay? And they achieved not only a better largest contentful page, which is the metric that assessed loading performance, but by actually rendering the call to action earlier on time, they impacted micro-conversion events to a cascade effect, causing that the experimental group measured 8% more sales compared to the control group. This is supposed to be a video, but that's okay. Leave for imagination. Performance is not only about loading. I think some of you already heard about performance, about loading, but I suggest you not to stop on loading, but also think about what's coming next in terms of UX moments. And the cumulative layout shift metric from the core Web Vitals program can help you understand UX issues, as it helps you measure whether the design and the UX interaction that you're delivering to your users is something that they can interact with, and whether there are some potential UX annoyances. So the suggestion is to make your site predictable and easy to interact with. And this is this is another example with business correlation from Rakuten, which is a streaming provider in APAC, that they improved both the loading aspect as well as also the layout stability as measured by the cumulative layout shift metric. And by doing both, they actually increased and improved also their business results by reducing exit rates and improving conversions to their own improved revenue per visitors. So we talked about things for the landing pages, but I'm sure that you're already aware that catalog browsing in general is full of opportunities. It's important to think proactively and also applying data-driven approaches about what you should optimize in these journeys. Maybe you have some data from your analytics providers that is suggesting that users from a home page may click from the CTA, or maybe from the listing pages, they may click more to your top seller items. If you have this information, I think it's useful to think about pages not just as single pages in single, but a kind of user journeys, and apply proactive strategies like preload the next page before the user clicks on it. But it's also important to think about how your users get to a page and how your page traffic is composed by. For example, back to the listing pages or product listing pages, however you want to call them, it's not rare that these pages have a traffic that 50% of it or so could be made by back-forward navigation, which in a nutshell means user clicking the back and forward button, okay? These kind of navigations can be slow or fast, and it depends what you allow the browser in terms of to help you with this experience. Ray-Ban is an example of an e-commerce company that implemented both the proactive data-driven strategy that I was talking about before, like by preloading pages, as well as also they unlocked the fact that back-forward navigation should be fast. And they did this by enabling what is called back-forward cache. For the navigations where users actually navigated the page via this acceleration experience, they measured double conversion rates. I also looked on the data exposed by the public dataset HTTP archive that is showing how are Magento sites globally doing on some metrics, such as the availability of this spatial acceleration called back-forward cache. And it looks like 83% of the Magento sites globally are not eligible to this. This is not a shame or a bug. This is an opportunity, in my opinion. So my suggestion is reach out to your IT team and investigate what you can do about it to unlock this opportunity. The most common reason for this opportunity to be blocked on Magento is the usage of cache control no-store header. But there might be other blockers which might prevent your sites to benefit from this acceleration. This is another chart showing how are Magento sites doing while passing the Core Web Vitals metrics with Google Chrome suggested thresholds. So it's improving, you see. Congrats, everyone. So I just want to say claps to you. But I also wanted to focus about, among all these metrics, which one I should care the most, which one I should optimize the most. And by looking at the data, I think there are still plenty of opportunities to improve backend time, as expressed by TTFB, which stands for time to first byte. Maybe there are Magento sites that can further improve their backend caching strategies, as Marco mentioned before in his talk. Maybe CDN's edges caching are not optimized to the level that they could be. But I think there is definitely some potential to improve TTFB, and if that metric will improve, those Magento sites will also see loading metrics as largest contentful paint to improve as well. Now, we talked about performance, but there are other APIs worth considering which can support your site conversions. Not everybody knows that in Chrome desktop today, you can use Gemini Nano in Chrome to perform AI tasks locally without any friction. Gemini Nano is currently available via multiple APIs. Some are completely available to Chrome users. Others are available under experimentation, what we call origin trial, which means you can enable it, but it's not currently available to all users. Using these kind of APIs has the advantage to have availability of Gemini Nano, which is local. So it has some privacy benefits. It doesn't have costs, of course, because it's local. And also from the latency point of view, it's convenient if the model, of course, completes the task that you need for the quality point of view. Of course, the model is smaller than the Gemini 2.5 Pro. An example of this usage in the field is Red Bus, which is an Indian bus provider. This bus provider decided to use Gemini Nano-powered Summarizer API to implement a client-side logic to summarize reviews depending on the query that the user put in place on the site itself. So they use the model to summarize all the reviews depending on the queries. Of course, by doing an AI task implementation of the browser, they reduce the technical complexity, but also optimized cost compared to a server-side solution. I'm not saying this will work for all the kind of scenarios. It depends case by case. Oops, more slides breaking. The second aspect I wanted to cover in terms of conversion funnels is what it regards cart, checkout, and login. And first focusing around what we collect under identity or login solutions. There are a variety of login solutions, and to figure it out, which one is good for you depends by your needs, by your investments, by your requirements, so on. There are some merchants and some sites which might be just happy with signing with Google because it's a quick plug-and-play solution to implement one-tap sign-up and auto-login. Or perhaps others may want to think about the future forward-looking integrations, such as passkeys, which opens the ground for a passwordless future. Sign with Google, it's a pretty simple API, library that works in JavaScript, that allows not only for users to, another link video that's supposed to work, but not only users that can sign up quickly, but they can also automatically log in. It has many benefits. I think you already know this one, so I can go really fast. But the one that I actually wanted to talk about you more is passkeys. So have you ever used passkeys? OK, someone. Great. So passkeys enable users to create accounts and log in by using biometric sensors, such as fingerprinting, facial recognition, PIN, patterns, and so on, relieving the user to create and manage a password. And they use either their laptop or single device as their authority to logging again on a given website. It's powered by a technology called WebAuthn. It's supported across browsers. It works also in apps. And it's supported by an ecosystem of third-party providers and federated identity providers. Some of the benefits, I think, were pretty obvious. Of course, like if you decrease the friction to create accounts, you may also support the conversion funnel completion step rate for your users. And at the same time, if you were using passkeys as an alternative to an SMS OTP option, you could also save some costs. Tokyo Railway Company, in Tokyo, of course, implemented passkeys as an additional sign-in method and registration method. And by doing that, they measured that average time to sign in improved by 12x. And now 24% of the users, 24% of their sign-ins go through passkeys and not by single forms. So we've seen quickly sign with Google, passkeys, more advanced, but more for the future. I mean, you can do it now, but there is also another aspect that I want to remind, because this is something that most sites do it wrong, big or small. If you have multiple sites and or apps, you have also to think about how you make your life easier for users to sign across channels. Browsers and operating systems don't talk to each other. And in Android, if you use the digital asset link technology, you can create these links and avoid terrible broken user journey scenarios while having users with different passwords saved between sites and apps. If you have this kind of a situation, please check this out. eBay implemented the digital asset link, and they measured 10% higher login success rate as a result of that. But for checkout, there are other ways as the web platform can help you. I'm sure you already heard about autofill and how browsers can help your users filling forms, address forms, or payment forms. But it's important to allow the browsers to let the users fill the data if they have a way to help the user completing the task. And I also want to give you a further motivation. We look at the Chrome real data about how our users, user engagement KPIs doing on Chrome when users fill fields on addresses and credit card forms with or without autofill assistance. And we notice that when there is some sort of autofill assistance, abandonment rate drops up to 77%, which I think is a kind of a good incentive to make sure autofill works. Similar impact, but a little bit more obvious, is that, of course, time to complete improves because users don't need to type the whole form field value. The last aspect, briefly, because, of course, about development productivity, we will have a lot to say, but I just wanted to focus animation went bananas. I just wanted to focus about something that can help you, again, orientate and navigate this scenario of web APIs and web features. In Chrome and in the web platform DX community, we introduced a concept called baseline, which aims to help developers, third parties, and providers in general to better understand when a feature should be adopted and what could be the reach on your user base. This program is actually categorizing features by different feature availability. And I'm sure that you notice many features saying oh yes, we support the latest browsers. But what does it mean, latest browsers? How many users will I reach with latest browsers? Basically, I want to kind of help you further with this. and flagging like baseline different capabilities by first categorizing limited availability when a feature is actually available not all across all the core browser sets, which are Chrome, Edge, and Safari, and Firefox. And then a feature actually, if it's actually being supported by all the major browsers of the core browser set, it gets to newly available, which means that the feature is supported across the browser, but you actually don't know whether it will reach all of your users because it takes time for users to upgrade browser versions. And widely available, you get this when a feature has been supported across core browsers for at least 30 months. So how should you use your data? Why it matters to you? There are many ways you can use this in order to optimize developer productivity. My suggestion is really start from your real users. Figure it out what kind of browsers versions you have, and maybe set up a baseline version target. To better understand, if you have like your project manager or PM that is asking you for a feature, you come back with data and have a better idea about the potential impact by adopting some features. There are, of course, like different integrations with baseline. RAM Archive is an open source project from Akamai. I think you may have heard about it. It, of course, is a sample of Akamai sites, but it may be useful to kind of look at the web across a part of the web overall. We have the folks from RAM Vision, so they can talk more, but they were like one of the first ones to integrate baseline into the RAM provider, into the RAM solution, sorry. And also there is like some guidelines about how to integrate by yourself with GA4, a custom integration, which of course requires like, implementing the beacon, visualization, and so on. That's it. I hope that you appreciate these small, quick tips, really tailored. It will not be impossible to cover all the conversion steps, but I hope that some of these things will help you navigate the complexity of a web platform overall. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Gilberto. Before to switch from some question on the stage, I would like to ask you, which opportunities from the Magento adopters that maybe are underestimated?
Great question. Thank you for that. So I think for the performance point of view, I try to make a point that there are some old patterns like the usage of cache control no store, which still represents an opportunity. So I suggested to look at your analytics data, look at your page traffic composition, and figure it out what to do. From my data, it looks like 90% or 89% of Magento sites use cache control no store, which maybe is understandable for logging, checkout, and cart, but for a PLP, maybe not. And you can have huge gains. So.
Thank you. Any question or qualche domanda? Sì.
Ciao, hi. I have 3 questions.
Puoi farlo in italiano. Sì.
Sì. In English it's okay, don't worry.
Okay.
First of all, why do you call all your new stuff Nano?
It's
just to rompere il ghiaccio, shut the ice, I don't know how to say. And the second one is, do you have some suggestion about the eye overview in the way of UX experience and conversion rate optimization, Magento, or whatever? The third one is, which is the difference between the rate, sorry, Magento people, of the growing in your web core virals of Magento and Shopify, for example. Sorry, Magento people, but I needed to ask, sorry.
Tricky question. Okay. I will start from the first one. Nano, I'm not like I'm not working in Gemini DeepMind, but I can comment, that Nano was chosen in order to communicate the fact that it's a smaller model. So it's actually better suited for small operations. That's why we started from text manipulations like summarization, language detection, and we have other APIs. So with the name, we want to communicate that it's a smaller model, and it can actually satisfy smaller tasks. I mean, yes, there will be like version upgrades, but Nano is like smaller than the normal Gemini 2.5. 2.5 you can consider as standard. You have Pro. Nano is like a smaller model, so it has limited context window, and it actually has further limitations compared to the cloud one. So I wasn't able to go much more in deep dive, but there are like pros and cons between cloud-based and local solutions. So it really depends by the AI task. The second one was about AI overview, right? Yeah. Okay. I'm afraid I don't have any guidance. I'm sorry. But yeah. So it's so yes. If you go into the dashboard, you can compare all e-commerce, all CMS, and of course, data is not perfect. There are like missing things, and you may see that some e-commerce SaaS may perform better, and I think maybe other experts can comment better than me. My understanding is that they have more control, of course. So that fact about cache control in the store was way easier for them to handle compared to an environment like Magento. Yeah, because that dashboard that I show is not showing, is showing all websites that HTTP Archive can categorize to a technology. And it has some limitations, of course. And there are like, I'm not sure we can compare like a SaaS and Magento solution, even for, I get what you want to do it.
Thank you so much, Gilberto.
Thank you.
Thank you.